Hi, and welcome to our program. Today we are visiting Museum Overtachi and its new premises. So follow me for a tour around the special exhibition, Body Ideals, Oppression and Liberation. Hi Anne.
Hi.
Thank you so much for having us.
Of course.
And showing us around the exhibition today.
My pleasure.
So what's this exhibition about?
In general, we have the theme of body images and body ideals that we're kind of exploring through both the oppressing side of the body ideals and how they shape people negatively, but also like the liberating part of freeing yourself from the old body ideals and creating new ones with like a freer view of the body. And we want to put them together because they're all part of the same conversation about how our bodies are shaped by society and by our own thoughts. So that's really what we want to explore in all of this.
Perfect, then let's get started.
Yeah, of course.
What can you tell us about this piece?
This piece is like a walk through a town and gives, of course everyone reads pieces differently, but to me it gives that sense of existing, because it's like you are the person taking this walk and being in society in that sense, and you're not really feeling yourself, you're just kind of seeing everyone else around you, so it makes you really aware of yourself and your own body in a sense. Of course I can't remember fully what the person said about the piece themselves, but I quite like getting my own feel of what the piece is telling me. But we also have the descriptions that everyone got to write themselves. All artists were allowed to write their own piece description, so it could tell the story they wanted it to tell. And it's generally just, we put it out here because it gives a really nice vibe to have it on that wall. And it just, you feel like you're kind of part of that walk.
Yeah,
and
definitely. You're walking with them.
Yeah, to me it becomes more and more uncomfortable as far as it goes, because
a little bit. I think it's because it's always from the same angle.
Yeah, you get that sort of insecurity in like, I can't look at people, I have to stay within my own bubble and not get too close to other people.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, then maybe we can move to the next one.
Yeah, we've got this little piece as well, with two people hugging a cage. It's like about the relation between bodies, that there's always some kind of distance between us because we can relate to our own body, but we can't fully relate to anyone else, and it's about trying to have that sort of relation to each other and each other's bodies with always that kind of boundary between us, as well as how we relate to everything around us as well in sort of a caged society. Yeah. Of course, it's my interpretation of all the pieces.
Yeah, of course. But it also gives it a nice input. Oh, that's really curious. And how many artists, do you know how many artists contributed for the exhibition?
I'm not actually quite sure of the exact number, but it was a lot more than we initially expected, which was amazing, because that means more voices for the conversation, but I'm not actually quite sure exactly how many. It's been a while since we were part of the process of picking everyone out. But
you started in November already, right?
Yeah, And we had like the open call, and we'd been discussing how many we wanted, and for a long time. It's been a long time coming, this exhibition, so.
And we can go to the next one maybe?
Yeah, that was actually not part of our open call. It was in this building as part of another exhibition kind of thing. But we just thought it was so good because it's an interactive art piece where if you get close to it, then it makes noises from your body's vibrations. So it makes you relate to your own body in an other way than you're feeling and the visual, because it creates a noise from your body.
Okay, so if I do it, it will do another sound?
Yeah, so it relates to your body in a completely different way and makes you feel like, okay, that's my vibrations.
Yeah.
That makes an auditory kind of reaction with something.
And that really fits with the topic.
We were just like, we had to call that artist up immediately, be like, can we please have this piece for the exhibition, because it fits so well. And for me, it's quite a positive piece in that sense, that I get to feel something different about my body, that I could create something just by being close to something. Yeah. And I thought that was quite nice. We had a lot of people for the opening of the exhibition over here being like, oh, how does it work? And just seeing people smile and interact with it was amazing.
Damn, this is interesting. I never saw anything like this.
No, I was really surprised as well. I was like, I've never even went to Alice, Horson's, bunch of different museums, and I've never really quite experienced, because it's so simple in its own existence. It's like a, I don't know what that's called, the thing you put over a tablecloth.
Yeah.
That's been dyed and then put these electrodes into. It's quite, it looks so simple, but it's so sophisticated in the way that it's designed.
And it's so interesting because if you see this, you would never think that this is, like, if you touch it, it actually kind of touch it.
Yeah, because
it's actually gonna happen.
We all have that idea in our head that don't touch art, don't get too close to art. It's like ingrained in our brain. If you go to Alice and it's like pick up a piece of candy, you're like, I'm not going to do that. That seems dangerous and illegal. But in this, you have to get close to get the proper reaction and the proper feel for the piece. It's quite, it pushes some of my boundaries as well, because I'm very classic in my understanding of art. I'd usually be like this distance and then I can view it. But people got up close and personal to that, and that's kind of what we need them to do as well.
That's,
with
yeah,
all
that's
of the
good.
pieces. Obviously, don't touch all of them, but we need
but it's
people
really
to get close
interesting.
to it.
Yeah, it's a really interesting way to break this boundary.
Yeah.
Kind of. Ah, so nice. I like this one.
Right. Shall we go inside then?
Yes. Perfect. Okay, so this is like the main room, right?
Yeah, that's where like all the rest of our pieces are at the moment. And we made it quite an open space to make sure that you could experience it the way that you want, because usually there's like a designed path you take. But in this, you kind of just have the possibility to move around the way that you would want to do it and take it in. And we've not really done it in any sort of specific thematics, so you get to decide yourself, is this affecting me positively, negatively? How is it? How does it feel for me, kind of thing? And it makes you want to go around more than once. And the more you can experience the art, the more you think about the art, and the more you have something to say, or at least a feeling about how it's affecting you. And that, to me, is all art is. Like, it makes you feel something. Whether it's this is shit or that's the most amazing art piece I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
As long as it makes you feel something, that's what art needs to do.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah. Do you want to just stick around?
Yes, that would be perfect.
Yeah. It's obviously quite different thematics all around, and everyone has just interpreted the theme differently, whether it's like this one couldn't, like, it's this kind of angel thing, you know, the angel that watches over you. I don't remember what that's called.
Guardian angel?
Yeah, guardian
I'm not
angel
sure.
kind of thing. And to me, it gives that sense of fragility in a positive sense, that you can put the world around you away for just 5 seconds because there's someone else watching over you, and you can take a break from your fragile existence. And that one is very, I think some people would read it negatively, some would read it positively. We have quite a lot of different, like, this is why the oppression and liberation work so well together, because everyone reads body image differently. And how, for me, this piece is quite tranquil in a sense. Like, I get that sense, like, the brain is out of your head, you're putting your thoughts away and allowing yourself to be calm and being watched over by someone else. That gives both that sense of fragility, and I'm leaving it in your hands, but I'm also allowing myself to have a moment's peace, not affected by my thoughts and by society and by everything.
I'm very confused with this red part, because it seems like her hair, but at the same time it seems like it's a piece, like a little bit of the guys inside, of the angels inside. So that's a really interesting.
It's like her brain coming out of her head. So she
that also makes sense.
like taking her brain out for a second, kind of thing.
That is nice. Okay.
And it does look, I don't know if that's nice to say, but it looks a lot like some of Uge5's other works. It's Alexandra who made it, but it's the same kind of style as Uge5 did, with the guardian angels as well, and the characters look a lot like that. And I don't know if she drew any inspiration from that, but it's quite a funny piece.
Yeah.
Because it just fits into the entire vibe of Uge5 and that kind of, I'm looking for the right word, like kind of, I don't want to call it crazy because that's a terrible word, but weird but wonderful kind of way of expressing yourself.
Peculiar, maybe.
Yeah, peculiar, that's the perfect word. You never have the word when you need it.
Yes, that's definitely true. Then maybe we can go to the next one.
Yeah. This one, to me, is a lot more simple to read in a sense. Like, it just makes sense to me what this is supposed to be. Like, the body unidentified in the lack of face, but with the clear lacerations around, like, the abdominal and chest area, in the sense of, like, being caught up in your own body, being captured and being strangled by society and being strangled by what you're supposed to be and having it hurt you quite badly. And it's just quite a deep piece with the colours as well. Give me that sort of aggression and that fear that can be behind being stuck in that kind of situation where you're just being hurt by your own body, in the sense, like, it's never your own body hurting you, but it's the way you have to feel about your body that is hurting you and creating permanent damage, like permanent scars on you forever.
Yeah.
But just no matter how much you tend them and how much self-care you do, those scars are always going to be there to remind you how much you've suffered in the past.
Yeah. And it's funny that, like, since it's there's not a face, like, everybody can be literally everybody.
Exactly, it's the lack of identity that both gives it this sense of lacking a self. It's like, I am no one because all I am is my damage, but it's also so relatable to everyone who's ever struggled with it, and even people who haven't can be like, that could be me, and gets to put themselves in someone else's shoes for just 5 seconds to see that and be like, that could be anyone. And you never know. Like, you never know what people are struggling with.
Yeah, that's probably true also. Okay.
I really love this piece as well, because I think I'm a very classical art person, so when things are naturalistic, I love that. but this is so telling as well because it's so close to the eye and so close to the face, but you've got this texture around the edge, like scarring, but you only see it in the edge. You look into the eye and you think that's beautiful. You see into a person, like your eyes are the mirror of the soul kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you've got this edge telling a story of so much hurt and so much harm. It's just...
But the eye stays pure.
That's the thing, like such a pure and beautiful picture of an eye. And then this, it sounds wrong to say ugly, but it gives that sense of, you get kind of a disgusted feeling of, ooh, that doesn't look nice at all. It looks like it must have hurt. And just that scarring. And I think that's quite a nice contrast of the beautiful and the identifiable, and then the things that you probably identify with yourself if you've got that kind of scarring, but that's on the edge of who you are kind of thing. At least that's how I read it.
Yeah.
I just think it's such a classical piece, but with a very modern twist of using the texture to say something.
Yeah, it's a nice touch.
And they've got quite a long text as well, like explaining, it's almost like a poem they've written about it. Obviously it's in Danish, but it's quite beautiful that they took that chance to write something so heartfelt to tell us the story, because otherwise it might be hard to get a feeling of what it's supposed to be about. So you only get your own sense of it, but she just wrote a poem that tells this heart-wrenching story of pain and suffering. It really adds to it. I think that's quite beautiful.
Too bad I cannot understand it.
Yeah, I would translate it, but I don't think I could.
Yeah, it loses the meaning.
And this one, like, we wanted to work with a lot of different media. Like, the others have been paintings, but we've got this drawing as well. And we wanted to do as many different kinds of media as possible, because the media can tell quite a story as well. For me, drawings are very personal, because I imagine sitting hunched over a table just with your sketch and pouring your heart out on a piece of paper with a pencil, because it doesn't take the same kind of thought. Like, you need to plan a lot with a painting, but with a drawing it's usually like the first draft kind of thing. And it becomes a bit more personal for me, in the sense that you get that's what they made, that's their first rendition of this. I obviously don't know if they did 1,000 of them, but it gives more of a me at 3 a.m. in the morning pouring my heart out, because I used to do that as a kid as well. Sit and draw till late out at night as a way to get my feelings out. So I really relate to using that media as well. And they've got quite a beautiful poem thing as well about feeling disgusting due to scarring as well. Like, it tells its own story in the sense of like a body that's been harmed and has so many scars, and I think it was an illness they had that made their skin boil up and stuff. So it's
that doesn't sound pleasant.
No, not at all. It shows so much pain, and obviously people with burn scars or who had an illness that harmed them forever and stuff, they're always going to feel that sense of, am I more disgusting than everyone else? Do I look vile because of my illness and that? Because people look at people with scars different. There's always that pity in the eyes of when you meet people who have scars, no matter what kind of scars they are. There's always that, how did that happen? Are you okay kind of thing? And you want to be more than that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Just a mark in your body.
Yeah, exactly. I think it tells quite a lot. This one is one of our more different medias, because it's a painted mirror that's kind of crashed. It crashed. And it's so interesting in the sense, like, on the floor you see it putting out its colour as well, but when you look at it, it's just a mirror, but it's a broken, damaged mirror. And I was quite surprised when I looked at it at first, because first I was like, what on earth is this? What is that supposed to say? But when you stand there staring straight into it, you see your own warped and destroyed reflection. And then it hit me like, okay,
There's
it's
a point.
a direct mirror. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be that ruined mirror of how you see yourself. At least, again, that's how I read it. it tells its own story, but it's also kind of beautiful in its own distraction.
Yeah. Maybe the next one. Yeah. This one is as an interactive one?
Yeah, that's part of our double-sided and interactive part of the exhibition.
Okay.
We wanted to do like a positive outlet and a negative outlet. This is where you sit down, you write down one of your negative thoughts, and it doesn't have to be about your body, it just needs to be something you want to let go of. Be it today you had a negative feeling, or you want to put something that's been hurting you for a while down on a piece of paper and just leave it behind. And obviously you're not going to leave behind all of your troubles in a box at a museum.
Yeah, of course.
But it can help you let go from the thing for 5 seconds, just to have that physical act of putting it away, putting it into a box, throwing it in the trash. And that physical little thing can mean that it could be a start of actually beginning to let go of the things. So you just write down a negative thought or idea or anything, fold it and put it in the box, and then you move on. That's kind of such a simple gesture in a sense, but we had quite a lot of people on the opening night sitting down and doing it. I don't know how many are in there, and that's people's private thoughts. So, but I think it's nice to do it. I did it myself as well, and it felt kind of freeing, even if just for like 5 seconds. But
yeah,
it was just like your shoulders just went down a bit, so you were a bit less heavy from it.
And what do you plan to do with everything, like after the exhibition finishes?
I think that's just what I understand that we were supposed to do, is that the negative thoughts we throw out, because that's people's private negative thoughts. We don't want to impose on any sort of, that's why it's a closed box, so we are not sitting there reading them through and be like, oh, well, you have an issue with this and you have an issue with that. We can't put a face to it, but it's still their private thoughts.
Yeah.
So we'll probably just get rid of them, like throw them out kind of thing. Less symbolistic, but...
No, but it's nice to give people their space, like it's a private thing.
I don't want to get into their private thoughts if they're choosing not to share it. So that's where you get to share them without having to share them with other people. And then we've got the positive piece later on. That's where you write your positive thoughts, and that's in an open space so everyone can see it, because then you share your positive thoughts with everyone.
That's good.
Yeah.
That was it for today. Thank you so much for staying with us. We hope you enjoyed this program as much as we did. See you next time.
Kunne du tænke dig at lave dit eget radioprogram? Kunne du tænke dig at lave dit eget radioprogram? Kunne du tænke dig at lave dit eget radioprogram? Kunne du tænke dig at lave dit eget radioprogram? Bliv frivillig radiovært i Radiohuset Aarhus.
Ungdomsradio. 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 Ungdomsradio.